Now, we should be live once again.
Yep, we're showing live on Accidental or on Twitch TV, Accidental Punch TV, Twitch, whatever. Yeah.
Yep, and we're live on Facebook. Yay, I fixed it. Let's make sure I'm live on D Live. And this is going to be the last night of this chair because I broke it. Whoopsie. And go on Twitch. All right, folks. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Sully effect in full effect before Sully could even wake up.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And I want to say hi to Otto Rocks. Otto Rocks is doing some little GIFs on D Live. So, hi. Nice of you to join us. We got Carol in the chat. Excellent. And I'm going to switch our camera angles now to this. Boom. Oh, JT, you're off center.
So when you're ready to go live, just let me know and I'll do an intro.
Okay. Well, let me
if that's okay with you, boss.
Let me fix your camera. I know you're centered on your end, but for some reason on my end you're not. So I fixed the issue.
Yeah, I can't go no further to this side because the arm of my chair's hitting the desk.
Yep. Nope, you're good. You're good. And let me... Boom! There we go. Fixed! He's now center, folks.
Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's how we roll. It's how we roll.
Alrighty. Take the JTH_country off of my thing because I'm not on Twitter anymore.
I'm still working on that.
Hi, Oreo. Meow.
It's all good. It's all good. Alrighty. Let's do this. I got my lights up. I'm good. All right, JT, let's do the intro. Go for it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Avenger Pretenders, the geek and the redneck.
And a cat's
once
butt
again,
in your face.
We're coming to you tonight with a special 2-hour episode covering episodes 5 and 6 of Loki. Sit back, grab your popcorn, grab your soda or your adult beverage, and have fun.
That's right. And JT's got a cat butt in his face.
Which is why I picked her up.
Yay.
Say hi,
Yay.
Ariel. Hi, everybody.
Yay. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Obviously, we weren't live last week. One, I wasn't here. I was on vacation. And two, I also had a death in the family. But we're all good. Everything's good. Thank you for all your support outside of Twitch and all that good stuff. I appreciate the sympathies. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. We got 2 episodes of Loki to catch up on, and we are going to start it off right away because episode 5 was the journey into mystery, where we left off right with the post-credit scene from episode 4. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Everything starts off. We're back at the TVA. And Judge Ravonna Renslayer is talking with Sylvie and tells Sylvie that she doesn't know who created the TVA. And that Loki was teleported to a void. A void at the end of space and time.
Well, we kind of need to clarify here. Just because there's one word that you're using, it's what they're doing.
Oh, sorry, he was pruned.
Yeah, he was and
pruned.
That sounds especially painful for a guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I tried to ignore it. I tried to block it out.
Yeah.
But every time they said, when they said, he got pruned or you pruned yourself or I pruned myself. Every time I said, Wait a minute. Makai is saying no audio or video yet.
there should be audio. I'm showing audio going up.
Yeah, I just listened to.
I got it on my Facebook. I got it on Twitch.
She may just need to refresh.
Yeah, refresh.
So yeah, but pruning, I mean, it's just kind of like the same thing as when you're watching a movie and somebody gets kicked in the nuts and you go, oh. Every time I heard the word prune, I kind of went,
you got pruned.
Owie.
You got pruned. It hurt. It hurt like hell.
So carry on, sir. I just wanted to make that clarification.
Yes, he needed to get the pruning in.
Yes.
So basically, everybody who gets pruned from the TVA, they get sent to this dimension at the end of space and time. Lady Death says she's got our ugly mugs, but can you hear us?
But do you have our melodious voices?
Yes. Our deep and sensual
at least
voices.
My melodious voice.
So anyway, obviously they're in a place where they get pruned, and they also deduce that the TVA's creator is hiding in the timeline beyond the void. Now, for those, I forgot to say spoiler alert. If you haven't watched 5 by now, yeah, 6 just came out on Wednesday, and I caught up. So come on. So they don't know where he is, but they think he's at the end of space and time inside the void somewhere. And from there, they kind of do a turnaround with the TVA and Miss Minutes. So now there's the point in time where Renslayer is now trying to stall.
Right.
Trying to stall.
It's a pretty good stall tactic, actually.
It was a very good stall tactic.
By Renslayer.
So, she's trying to stall so they can capture Sylvie and prune her and do whatever. And once the troops arrive, that's pretty much what happens. They go in, they're fighting each other now. Mm-hmm. And Sylvie does this wonderful little escape artist thing to get behind Renslayer's desk in her courtroom, pretty much.
Right.
And she's doing exactly what Loki's doing. She's stalling and biding time as well. But at the same time, we also see Sylvie take Renslayer's tempad. She takes the tempad.
Well, that was before the troops came in.
Right. And she stuffs it, in like a pocket in her outfit there. Completely hidden. Doesn't even know it's gone. Perfect timing. It was like the basic switch that you could see. And
switcheroo.
And she gets to the point where instead of duking it out with the others, she decides to prune herself into the void.
Well, I think that what made her decide to take that route, because I think part of her, Drummond says, all of us comic book nerds know who is behind all of this. It's, spoiler, tune in next week. But I think what made Sylvie make her decision of how she was going to get out of this was one comment from Renslayer. Mm-hmm. And that was the comment about, I can, if you give up, I will put you in a time loop where you can continue to relive a good memory. And she was okay there.
Right.
But then she proceeded to say, wait, do you even have any good memories?
Yeah.
When she said that, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I saw a change in Sylvie's eyes. And that comment right there decided for her exactly what she was going to do.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the things where, she doesn't have any good memories because she was a kid when she was taken.
Right.
It was one of those things that they took her while she was a child, so she didn't get to live her life.
Yeah.
Okay? So from there, Sylvie prunes herself, goes into the void, And then Renslayer goes on to interrogate Hunter B-15, who is now officially imprisoned in some type of time vortex / prison cell.
Right.
And while that's happening and they're discussing everything, B-15 flat out says this changes everything.
Yeah, the fact that
We're all variants.
the fact that the timekeepers weren't real and that everybody was a variant.
Right. We're
And
all
Renslayer's
variants.
like, well, that doesn't change anything. It changes everything.
Sure. And it does. So Renslayer instructs Miss Minutes to help her find the TVA's creator. Which, I don't know if that's a good thing. But I'll tell you, that southern accent that she's got going on for Miss Minutes, oh my God. Oh my God. Just saying. Just putting it out there for them southern folk. Nailed it. Nailed it. And to be honest, and I can't wait to talk about this for episode 6, it's amazing what they were able to do with Miss Minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing. At the same time, we go into the Void at the end of time and space, where Loki is now interacting with the 4 different time variants of himself. Alligator Loki, Boastful Loki, Classic Loki, and Kid Loki. And they're all warning him about Alioth, a massive cloud-like creature that looks like it's got a head of a wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a combination of like the head of a wolf and the head of a demon horse, like
Yes.
you'd see in what was the movie with the guy on the motorcycle that was all fire?
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider.
Yes. Ghost Rider. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Lady Death says, it's
Crikey.
well, it's really crocky, but in this case, it's croaky. Croaky, and it's true. It's a variant of Loki, and very talkative, by the way,
Croaky.
and very violent too. Likes to chomp on the other Loki's hands.
Yes. Actually, their arms. He swallows their hand and clamps onto the arm.
True, he does. So Alioth is a massive cloud-like creature, hunts and kills all life in the void. Upon arriving, Sylvie briefly enchants Alioth before running into Mobius. Uh-oh. What are you laughing at besides the cat?
I'm sorry. I have a guest.
Not
And,
at all.
and she's sitting here doing love rubs on the microphone. Uh-oh.
Huh? What?
What got your attention? Something got her
What?
attention.
What? I'm a cat.
She's like, hey.
You were on camera, kitty.
Go get him. Go get him. No, I'm just going to love rub on the microphone a little bit more.
I'm just going to... Oh, this is furry and soft. This cute cat moment brought to you by... Which one is this?
Oreo.
Oreo. There you go.
This is Oreo.
Oreo.
And the guy's like, I want a stuffed one. And she wants a stuffed crocky.
Why not? Why not?
Sit it right next to her Baby Yoda.
There you go.
Or
Grogu.
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 All right. Back to Loki.
So anyway, so Sylvie runs into Mobius, and the two of them start escaping the creature. And we kind of had a feeling that that's where Mobius went. We were just waiting for him.
Everybody who gets pruned goes to the same place. They
Yes.
all go to the void.
Yes.
And you know it is expected that once they go to the void that they're going to die.
Yes.
You know, almost immediately. Because it seems like when people drop into the void, like when Sylvia did, and she woke up, and Alioth was right there.
Yeah.
So it's like he knows when they come in, and he goes and gets them because it's kind of hard to run from him.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you need to go.
Bye, kitty cat.
Honey, can you come get this crazy ass cat, please?
Say goodbye to the kitty, folks.
Can you come get this kitty, please?
Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the kitty. Bye-bye.
She's playing Lovin's on the microphone and climbing over it and rubbing on it and doing the love rubs and the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Daddy's attention.
Why don't you go ahead and
That's
close
all.
that,
I will.
Just wanted attention, that's all.
Come on, bud.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Come on, Dick.
Okay. Now we can go back to business uninterrupted.
Yeah. So, basically what happens is with Loki now interacting with the other variants of Loki that had found him, they're all telling him about Alioth and what he can do and why it's better to hide and live to fight another day.
Right.
Because you'll die. You flat out die. The beast kills you all. It kills all. Okay? Now, with that being said, Kid Loki leads them to their hideout. And there's a lot of things going on with this hideout that we will get into as soon as we're done.
One thing that I liked about as they're going to the hideout.
Yep.
And it gets to the point where, he's yelling and Kid Loki pops the knife out and, shuts him up and everything. And the new Loki.
Yep.
Okay. Says, well, what did you do to get here? And, and then he said something about, he's a kid. Why are you taking orders from him? And they said, well, because this is his reality. And he's like, well, why is that? Or what did you do? And he just simply turns around and says words that I never thought I would hear, when he just turns around and looks at him and goes, I killed Thor.
Yep.
And then turns around nonchalant and walks.
And walked away.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, shit.
There you go. Killed Thor. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Killed my brother. Well, like I said, we're going to get into the Easter eggs because there's a lot of Easter eggs for episode 5. So we'll get to that as soon as we're done and before we do our ranking. Right. There really weren't a lot of different scenes for this particular episode. Right. Yeah, there were a few cutaways and stuff like that, but it really wasn't. It was mostly in the void is really where most of it took place. Right. Now, while they're hiding out in Kid Loki's lair, they're basically telling each other what they did to get there. What was the reasoning for them? So, for example, I believe Old Man Loki managed to not just fool Thanos.
Everybody.
He fooled everybody. So, Loki, Old Man Loki, anyway, he basically told all the other Lokis that you're more powerful than you think. There's more magic. There's more things to do. You have a lot more power. And one of the things that Old Man Loki specifically told them was that he was able to generate an illusion that felt so real and sounded so real that when Thanos snapped Loki's neck in Infinity War, the Old Man Loki was able to kill Thanos.
Right.
In his timeline, in his variant. So, there's a lot more going on now than what we've seen in the past. Boastful Loki, I forget how he got there. The Crokey, we'll call him Crokey for Lady Death. So Crokey, obviously he just growls, and they were telling his story. And then they told the story of they got into our Loki that we know, his story.
Right. And
very quickly, how it ended. I had an attack on New York, and they ended my timeline because I escaped. So that variant is now doing what he's doing. And eventually, as our Loki is now leaving because he wants to go after Alioth and kill him, even though they all laughed at him.
I'm done with it. I'm leaving it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kill him, and I can use as much help as I can get. And that's when they bust out laughing at him.
Yeah, they burst out laughing, and as he's going up the ladder, he opens up the hatch, and there are a ton more Lokis.
I was gonna say a buttload of other Lokis,
Led by President Loki himself. Which,
in modern days, it would be like Joe Biden. You know?
Right. Want to say hi to Keaton, who just joined in on Twitch. Hello, sir. How you doing, my friend? Yes,
Good to see you,
it has
Keaton.
been a long time no talk. I was off last week, but we're here. We're here.
We're here. We're queer. Get used to. Oh, sorry.
Speak for yourself.
No. I was just saying that the old
Yep.
chant.
Yep. So now there's an all-out fight going on in this wonderful hideout. And like I said, we are going to get to the Easter eggs because there's a lot in the hideout itself.
What I thought was funny about that whole thing and what led up to the fight breaking out and everything else was first boastful
Boastful.
flip that. Boastful Loki.
Yep.
Got it that time. Reveals first that he betrayed his little group.
Correct.
And then, President Loki says, well, it's okay because it's not going to happen because I'm going to stay in power. And all the other Lokis in his group say, change your plans. Chink. And he's like, really?
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta admire about the Lokis, that when it comes to that type of things, it gets to the point where Loki is Loki. He wants power.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to control everything. That's all he wants.
Well, in classic Yoki, when I did it again, classic Yoki. Classic Loki, when they escape, because classic Yoki opens old man Loki.
There you go.
After he opens the portal and the four of them escape. As he's coming out, he's like, "Why are we so freaking stupid? Why do we always go back to the power thing?" And it drives him crazy.
It really
and
does.
He's just like, "Damn it!"
and even our Loki, the one that we know, you can see that even for him, it's getting to be annoying.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he was.
Yeah, and that was the realization that he came to while he was floating around in space.
Correct.
After he had escaped from Thanos.
Right.
And he realized as he's floating there that no matter whatever he does, bad things follow.
Right.
So he says, okay, well, I'm going to take myself out of the equation, and finds a place a lot like Sylvie did where he could just hide.
Exactly.
And that's what he did. And the only reason he was caught was because he got lonely. He wanted to see his brother.
Sure.
And as he was taking steps to do that, well, guess who showed up?
Right. TVA.
And here we are in the void.
And here we are. So we fast forward. Sylvie and Mobius are trying to escape as well, and they run into the Lokis. So yay for that. Everybody's reunited again, which is awesome. And
an amazing coincidence.
What, the fact that Mobius was driving a car?
Well, one that Mobius was driving a car, by the way, I love the pizza on a spring. That was cool.
Right?
But the other thing was that in this giant world, in this giant void, that Mobius and Sylvie just so happened to be in the same area as Loki and the others, and they just so happened to run into each other.
Yeah, which perfectly fine. You
Yeah.
know, because that's when some of the Lokis decided that they weren't going to, this is as far as we go.
Yep.
We brought you here. This is as far as we go. We're done. And Sylvie gives Mobius the TemPad so he can get back to the TVA, and also tells him the truth about the organization and the employees. And he flat out says, "Yeah, I know."
And Loki's like, so what are you going to do when you get back? And Mobius looks at him and goes, I'm going to burn it down.
Burn it down.
Burn it down. But, and I know you hate me for doing this, but I want to backtrack just a little bit.
Okay, go
not
ahead.
much. To where Loki and Sylvie were sitting out in the grass and the others were in the little building.
Yep.
And they were asking Mobius about Croaky.
Yes.
And he's like, Mobius is like, I don't remember ever catching him.
Right. I think I would have remembered that.
And what happened when that was going on, my mind jumped back to the comment that you made a couple episodes ago about this not being the only version of Mobius who is out doing the TVA work.
Exactly.
And that popped back into my head. I'm like, And as we get into episode 6, there was another observation that I made that I want to make sure I get out. But
we'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm not going to rush.
We'll get there.
But I just like it. I've never seen him. I don't remember. I think I would remember, pruning a freaking crocodile Loki.
I would have remembered that.
I would think I'd remember that.
If I was a variant, I probably would have remembered it as well.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I mean, that's a pretty significant thing there.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, does that mean all of Asgard were alligators?
I don't know.
Was Asgard just like a big swamp?
Or maybe he was turned into an alligator. I don't know. But at one point in time in the comics, there was a storyline that involved Thor as a frog.
Really?
So yeah. So it was good.
Well, that would fall in with the alligator kind of thing.
Yeah, it was good homage to the comics. Which again, guys, we've got lots of it's called Florida. Oh, Dromelin. We've missed you.
What we're laughing at is Dromelin said, "Yep, they call it Florida."
We've missed you. So in the long run, after they're talking with Mobius and Sylvie doesn't really have a plan aside from wanting to take it over. That's the plan.
She wants to find.
She wants to enchant it.
Who did it? Who created it? Who is responsible?
Right.
For her entire life being taken away from her.
Correct.
I mean, truthfully, it's all about her and what happened to her.
Right. Not Loki or any of the other Lokis. It's her. Okay. So now we're starting to see some things. Mobius goes back to the TVA. And before he does that, he also asks the Loki variants to come with him and help him. Right?
The other ones, Kid Loki and Classic Loki.
Classic Loki and Crocky.
And Croaky.
Yep, and Crocky.
Crocky, sorry.
Crocky.
Got it.
Or Croaky, because of Loki. Croaky.
Well, that's the way I was saying it.
Yeah,
actually, Crocky sounds better because Croaky sounds like he's croaking.
True.
So
very,
Crocky,
very true.
We'll go Crocky.
Very, very true. But they elect to stay behind, and Kid Loki, Croaky, and Old Man Loki, they all go their separate ways, and Loki and Sylvie go on to face Alioth. But before they do, Kid Loki gives our MCU Loki his gold sword.
Right.
You're going to need this. Here you go. So he gives him the sword. So now he's got a weapon. Keaton says, I'm so out of this loop. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think Keaton says watch Loki.
You have to watch Loki, man. And trust me, you're going to need to watch it because, oh boy. We'll get into a little bit more of that. when we get into episode 6. Oh, holy crabola. So, the variants escape. Loki attempts to distract Alioth so Sylvie can enchant it, but both of them fail. They can't do it. And that's when the surprise comes in for episode 5. Old man Loki was able to just stand there and create a life-size illusion of Asgard.
Well, and to clarify the situation a little bit, maybe for Keaton's or for anybody else who might not have seen it.
Spoiler.
Yep, spoiler, big time. Sylvie and Loki are getting ready to do their thing, and Sylvie says, well, we need to create a distraction. So Loki runs off to the side.
Yes.
Pulls out the dagger. It's like, the cool thing was that it was on fire.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. That was a nice touch right there.
Flaming sword!
And he's waving it around at Elias to get his attention. I mean, that's like, lighting a match and swinging it back and forth at fireworks, going, come here, boys, So Elias starts to go after Loki, but when Sylvie makes contact and starts to try to enchant him, he turns around and starts going after Sylvie, and that's when classic Loki comes in.
Correct.
And does what you said, which was create a life-size replica of Asgard in order to make the distractions so that Loki and Sylvie can do what they need to do. And
from there, Loki finally realizes that he's a lot more powerful than he knows.
Yeah, so he's like, how is he doing that? And Loki's like, I think we're a lot more powerful than we realize.
Yep.
Lady Death says, that was phenomenal as Flying Fladoodle.
Yeah, it really was. It was so cool.
That was very, very cool.
It was so cool. And I mean, it was the palace, it was buildings, it was everything.
The entire city.
It was the entire...
The only thing I didn't see was the bridge.
Yeah, he didn't do the bridge, but it was more... He did the palace and the buildings around it because it needed to be big in order to get Alioth's attention.
Yeah.
And it was so monumental and so huge when it came to the projection,
Keaton says, but I am a huge Mandalorian fan. Me too, Keaton's. I say, when are we going to talk about that, or am I getting too ahead of myself?
Season 3 didn't come out yet, but we will talk about it.
Right.
Same with,
and Gromlin says he also
Boba.
Had hundreds of years of practice.
He has.
And the thing of it is, the thing that people need to realize, and I'm sure they do, is that classic Loki, who had survived for all these years, these hundreds of years, sacrificed himself so that Loki and Sylvie could follow through with their plan.
Correct.
Because he wanted to see them be successful in what they were trying to do also.
Absolutely.
And when, I thought, well, maybe he escaped somehow until I saw the helmet fall to the ground all rusty and caked with crap. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, he's gone.
And Dromlin says, but did he? He did fool Thanos. He did.
But would he have left his helmet behind?
Yeah, that's the thing. I
don't think he would have left the helmet behind.
He got old man Loki, classic Loki. I think he's gone.
But not forgotten.
Right. But right now he is. And that's the biggest thing.
I don't think he would have dropped the helmet if he was still alive.
Yeah. And Dromlin says he fooled Thanos, so sure, hint, watch it again. No, seriously, I'm right there with you. The one thing about Marvel, and this is comics in general, and I've been saying it for a very, very long time. Very long time. No one stays dead.
except for
Uncle Ben, Jarrell, Jonathan Kent. No one stays dead. And technically, the original Gwen Stacy as well. Okay?
well, John says, watch it again and watch
Yeah,
the
no,
background.
there's a lot of Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Easter eggs. This specific episode, and we are going to go over the Easter eggs because, well, we can. And like I said, a lot of this was just between the TVA and the Void. It was mostly in the Void, so we still have a lot to cover. I mean, this episode alone had to have at least had 30 to 40 Easter eggs in it.
Well, and it answered a lot of questions. Because remember,
Sure.
I've been saying all the way through episodes 1 through 4
Yep.
that there's so many questions that are lying there.
Yeah.
And we got to start getting some of these questions answered.
Sure.
And they did a lot of that in this episode.
Yeah, sure. Dromelin says lots of debris floating around. Again, I'm right there with you. It's a huge possibility, but that's why I say
Alioth attacked the battleship. That was friggin' awesome.
that was awesome. That was really cool. Now, at the same time, Loki and Sylvie were able to enchant Alioth,
Mm-hmm.
and it revealed a citadel in the center of the void.
Yep.
And the episode ends with them walking to it. There was no post-credit scene. It was just
They
two of
didn't give
them.
away shit in these episodes.
They really didn't. You know,
I can only think of what was it. It was one mid-credit scene in
Episode
episode
three.
3,
yeah, episode
and
3.
that was it.
Right? Was it
No,
episode 3?
in-
No,
in-
episode 4. Sorry.
Episode 4. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they had him in just about every freaking episode.
Keaton wants to know what's our opinion on Disney taking over Marvel and Star Wars. Because I'm not a huge fan of Disney taking over. That's a whole nother discussion for tomorrow.
Yeah. Come back and ask that question tomorrow, Keaton. You'll get a full answer.
Remind me tomorrow and we'll talk about that. So before we get into the Easter eggs, and like I said, there's a lot and we still have a whole nother episode to go. Let's do what we would rank this episode.
On this one, I'll go ahead and I'll give it 4.
Okay.
I'll give it 4
You
Loki
broke the
helmets.
4 barrier. I like
We
it.
broke the 4 barrier, and the main reason why for me is because of like I said, the questions that were out there. A lot of them were answered in this episode.
Sure.
So that's what pushed it over, because I was sitting at 3 3/4 again.
Mm-hmm.
But that pushed it over. The battleship scene, which I talked about, pushed it over.
Yep.
The classic Loki creating the Asgard. And my favorite part was the Loki fight, where you actually watched President Loki
Yeah.
lose half of his arm, and then you watched Crocky swallow it.
Yes. Yes.
So that's kind of what pushed it over the hump into the 4
Okay.
for me. It was a good episode.
It was. It was very good.
The one
episode.
thing I'll say, and I'll say this now, is 1 through 5, it kept my attention,
Yeah.
but it did not pull me in and have a death grip on me like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right. Which you've said that from episode 2 to 3. You know?
It's good. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I enjoy it. I love sitting there with Kay watching the episodes and everything else. But it's not pulling me in as much as Falcon and Winter Soldier did.
Sure.
Now, 5, I mean, and this is kind of like a lot with Wanda. It's kind of the same thing with Wanda, where they had that one episode that made you kind of sit up and go, wait a minute. And it kind of pulled you in just a little bit more.
Sure.
And that's what this episode did for me. So that's why I'm going ahead and giving it the 4.
All right. I'm going to give it a 4 as well. Mostly because same thing, but in my opinion, with the four, I noticed a lot of Easter eggs.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
A lot of Easter eggs. We haven't even touched them yet, and we're going to touch them in this next section. And this is why we did the four, because JT is not a computer guy. He's not a geek. He's not a nerd. He doesn't read comics. He watches this because, well, we've asked him to, and he's doing it. And to be honest, did you really find a crow key on Etsy? Did. And he found a crow key on Etsy.
Actually, credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
Nakaya found that.
Absolutely. So, see,
And
there you
sent it
go.
to me.
So,
yeah, I'm the outside guy on all of this.
Yeah. So for me, it was definitely a 4. The action at the end of the episode was great. I loved all the references to the comics with all the different variants of Loki and all of the other Easter eggs that we're going to talk about right now. So right now, JT and I are pretty neck and neck when it comes to ranking these episodes between, 3.5 to 4. We're very, very close with this. Now, this is why I wanted to do the Easter eggs after the ranking, because boy, was there a lot. I mean, the episode alone, the name of the episode was Journey into Mystery. Now, if you're a comic book geek like me, Journey into Mystery is the first appearance of Thor and Loki in the comics.
If you're an outsider like me, Journey into Mystery is every time I go to the bathroom.
Right. So,
just saying.
So Loki, Loki made his debut in Journey into Mystery, issue number 85.
Okay.
Number 85 was the comic book. Okay, and that's basically where you get classic Loki from. Because that was the classic look. It was the green, the yellow cape. Not what we got now. Not the more realistic approach. But it's Loki nonetheless. Now, there's also one I missed. I missed this one. I didn't see it. Because it really was kind of quick. Oak Island. Now, some people are going, wait a minute, Oak Island? Yes, Oak Island. Break out your history books, folks. Oak Island, Nova Scotia. It has been believed, and I had to look this up to make sure it was true, and there's stories. It's believed that there's treasure hidden there because of Captain Kidd. Again, Pirates.
The Curse of Oak Island.
Yep, the Curse of Oak Island. Ark of the Covenant.
TV show. Where was that?
That was, so if you watch, where you can see the timeline on the screen in the TVA, as, people are pretty much walking underneath it and it's establishing you're in the TVA. It's on one of the screens. It's actually on the main screen that you see. So you'll see the timeline going by, and it'll say Oak Island, Nova Scotia. I think it says 1901. 1901. So if you zoom in, take a still picture and zoom in, you'll see 1901. You know what? Maybe I can do a screen capture of this. Hold on. Let's see what I can do with screen capture, my friend. That way I can show people's.
Right.
Show people's what's going on, There we go. And I'll do that.
Even the guy's like, where was that?
You'll see.
Very beginning of the episode.
Yes.
If I'm catching where he's describing correctly, the very beginning of the episode when they come in and you're looking at the TVA from above.
Yep.
And it swings around to where you're right set up as it's progressing towards the doors.
Correct.
Where the timekeepers, the mechanical timekeepers were behind.
Correct. So there you go. There's the still picture for those that are watching live as we're recording the podcast. You can see Oak Island, Nova Scotia. Oak Island, Nova Scotia, 1901.
I'm waiting for it to show up on the screen. Ah, there we go. Okay, so it was on one of the TV timelines,
Yeah,
or one of the timeline TVs.
yeah. So you can see it. You can flat out see it. Obviously, it's circled. You can see Oak Island, Nova Scotia. Now, again, that's 1901, but it's also a reference to the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, true. So many Easter eggs.
Because
Why don't they just start an Easter egg farm? They basically did in this episode.
this one, oh yeah, oh yeah. Obviously, and I'll show reference to this again. I may have to split the picture a little bit here, just to kind of show both pictures. I want to show it. We mentioned this in, well, pretty much at the end of last episode, where
Episode 5 or episode 4?
episode 4,
Okay.
that I mentioned a specific building in the void. And I'll shrink this down. There we go. All right. So now I can show it. So I did, like I said, I did mention this before, and you can see where the arrow and the circle is. That's Avengers Tower. That's Avengers Tower from Age of Ultron, and it's completely destroyed.
Okay, I remember seeing that. Was that in episode 5 too, when they did the I call it like the
Yes.
full intro overhead flyover as they were starting
Yes.
the episode?
Yes. This is specifically from episode 5. But again, you saw this in 4 also.
Now,
Now, Dromelin does say there is a different name on it. Yes. Yes, there is.
what's the name?
Yes, there is. There is a different name on it. I'm so glad you brought it up, because the sign says Keng. Qeng. Because Tony Stark
Yeah, he sold the building.
sold the building to Keng Enterprises. And
I
there's
remember that. I remember that because in Spider-Man was it Homecoming?
Yes.
Was when they were moving everything out of the Stark Enterprises building.
Yeah. Now, in the
I
MCU,
got one right.
you did. But now here's the thing. In the MCU, when Spider-Man takes place in the MCU, I have a feeling that it's either going to be Osborn, or if the Easter eggs are correct from Spider-Man Far From Home, it may be the new Baxter building. So keep an eye out. And I know we've spoken about that at length, trying to distinguish Easter eggs and talk about it on the Sully Show. But now we have an outlet where we can do that. So, but again, this is why it's going to tie to Loki, to the Timekeepers, and to a specific person that we'll talk about in episode 6, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Because there is a character by the name of Mr. Griffin who works for a specific character that we will mention in the next episode. Now, there's also a very interesting thing when it comes to the Void. Now, we know Alioth is there. It's got a wolf-like head. It's also a villain that was brought from the comics. And it also has to do with a specific character that, again, we're going to talk about at length in episode 6 by the name of Kang the Conqueror. Alioth is actually Kang the Conqueror's rival. They don't like each other. But we'll see what happens. Because, oh boy. Tromelin, say it! We'll get there. I promise.
He did say thank you.
Yes, he did. Now, there's also a very interesting tie to another character in the Void, which may also play a very interesting role in not just Ant-Man, but in the multiverse storyline. Now, this is one of those, if you blink, you miss it type of things.
Well, I blink a lot, so.
That is true. You do. And
I blink
I'll make
with my eyes wide open.
I'll make the picture bigger so everybody can see it. You can see there's something circled right there on the screen for those watching on Twitch or D-Live or Facebook. All those wonderful good areas. You can see that looks like a particular helmet. Now, just pay attention to JT's face, everybody. You can see he's like, wait a second.
Well, there was one scene, and I don't know if this is the same thing or not.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one scene where it almost looked like the top part of the Enterprise from Star Trek that was buried in the ground like that.
It did look like that, didn't it?
Yeah, without the boosters and all that. So I don't know if that's the same thing or not.
Now, Dromelin is saying Sentinels. He's talking about Sentinels. As much as I would love to say yes to that,
that's a head.
It is a head. But again, Sentinels were the big robots that went after the mutants. Okay? But look closely at that helmet. And you know what? I'll see if I can zoom in on the helmet a little bit more.
I mean, it's actually you can actually see an ear on the side of it.
Yeah, you can see like some type of.
And it looks like there's a stripe or something that's coming. Down in the middle.
Let me zoom in just a little bit here. So there's zoomed in, okay, and again, Dromelin. As much as I would love to say yes to the Sentinels, I don't think so.
Okay, so we got the Sentinel, the possible Sentinel path on this.
Yes, but
that's like the back side view, right?
No, that's the front.
Am I looking the wrong way?
No, that's the front of the helmet. Lady Death says Iron Giant.
You know what I'm getting from it? The Black Spider-Man.
You're getting the Black Spider-Man?
I'm getting a feel of the Black Spider-Man with the way it's coming up on the side like that.
Yeah.
It's like, because the eye holes on him were really.
Yeah. Well, let me reveal to you what that helmet is very, very closely related to.
Yeah, Venom.
Dromelin says it's not Doctor Doom. It can't be. No, it's not. Lady Death says Iron Man. It's not. Venom. No. Allow me to show you what it is. Does this character look familiar to you?
I'll tell you in a minute when it comes up. I'm a little bit of a delay on my end.
That's all right. It's all right.
Spider-Man.
No. Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man.
Okay, well, you have to admit
it's very close.
It's very close because you think about it when him and Iron Man were on the spaceship fighting. What the hell was his name?
Yep.
The spider legs came out from behind to stop him from flying out the hole.
Right.
And that's what I thought of when I saw it. But now that you say the Wasp, yeah, okay.
Yep. So this is Yellow Jacket. That helmet
That
is
was the bad
very,
guy,
very
right?
close to Yellow Jacket. Uh,
Yeah,
Dromlin says,
okay. I can see that with the part coming down there in the middle. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So now, um, Lady Death hasn't even seen Ant-Man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Go watch
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And this is coming from me.
Go watch it.
Okay. You need to watch Ant-Man and Ant-Man and Wasp, and they are both on Disney Plus.
Yes. Yes. They're all there.
They're all
Everything's
there.
there. Dromlin says, yeah, but I hate they made Yellow Jacket someone other than Hank Pym. You got to remember, Yellow Jacket was a bad guy at one point in time. So, and yes, Hank Pym, yeah, the whole comic storyline of him being drunk and abusive to Wasp and all that, you kind of have to get rid of some of that. So I understand why they changed it. But still pretty cool nonetheless that reference is there.
Okay. It's an easy one to forget.
It kind of is, but not this next one. This next one, wow! I spotted this, and this was complete reference to the comic so quickly that I
So
was like,
I wouldn't catch it.
a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people wouldn't. Dromlin says, but then he also made Ultron, and they gave that to Tony Stark instead too. Yes, but you got to remember it's a cinematic universe, so you kind of have to take some liberties and change it a little bit because that's what they do. Now, this next Easter egg, this was really cool. This was right out of the comics. There's a nice little helicopter there where you can see them all walking away, walking toward Alioth there. And you can see Thanos on the side of the helicopter.
I missed that.
Now, this copter, Thanos uses it to attack Hellcat and try to steal the Cosmic Cube, also known as the Tesseract. Dromlin Thanos fights Spider-Man while in this. Yes, he does. Absolutely.
Indicaya. I saw that one.
It's very interesting to
I think I did too.
to catch because
Yeah.
again, it's right from the comics. Okay, so here's a closer view of that. You can see Thanos on the side. The color is the same. Everything is the same. It's amazing. Perfect nod to not only the Infinity Saga and Thanos, but also the comics for that helicopter. Now, it gets better. Because I'm sure you all noticed this next one.
I think you have too much confidence in me, Sully.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you noticed it because you really couldn't miss this one.
Come on.
No, you
Who are
really
you
couldn't.
talking to?
You really couldn't because it was right in front of everybody's face when it happened.
Okay.
When the camera's panning down and they're climbing into the wonderful hideout that they've got, you can see Mjolnir and a jar with a shrunken down Thor trying to get to it.
That's what that was.
That's what that was. But
I
it's
didn't
not
catch
just
the person inside.
but it's not just Thor. It's Thor as a frog, which I had mentioned earlier. And Dromlin just nailed it right on the head. Frog Thor in a bottle trying to break out to get his hammer. Yes, that is a reference to the first appearance of Thor as a frog in the Thor comics. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm like,
Thor the Frog of Thunder.
but that's what happened in the comic.
So I did catch that, but I did not catch that it was. I did not catch that it was Thor.
Yeah. Lady Death says, I was trying like hell to figure out what the hell I was seeing. As you're going through, you can see the hammer, and then you can see the frog in the jar.
Where's
Now,
the hammer?
The hammer is actually right above him, and I'll switch the picture here to kind of show you the handle there. Let's see here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
'Cause
well,
I missed the hammer.
what I'll do is I'll actually just slide the I'll slide the picture over so you can see the handle a little bit. There we go. So if you look around the yellow ring, you can still see, you can still see Frog Thor in the jar. But if you look directly up,
handle.
you can see the handle right next to some trays.
Right.
In the dirt. So I thought that was a great homage to the comic.
And
but now,
I remember him yelling something like, come on, or something like that.
But now, there's also another Easter egg right there as well. And for comic book nerds like me, you'll notice. Because again, we're referencing Thor as a frog in a jar. Well, it just so happens that jar has T365 on it, which is a reference to Thor issue number 365 from 1966 when Loki transformed Thor into the frog.
See, now you can tell he's a frog.
Yes, now you can tell. With it closer, yes, you can tell. And I'll bring it up just a little bit so you can see him a little bit better. You can tell he's a frog. He's got the cape there. He's got the wings on the helmet. Mm-hmm. He looks like a frog.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, there you can tell he's a frog.
Dromelin says, it mirrors Thor trying to escape the room he was dropped in the first Avengers movie. Yes, and if you think about it, it also mirrors Thor when he was trying to get his hammer from S.H.I.E.L.D. and he couldn't lift it. So you got a lot of different homages going on there, which is really, really cool. Then, if we go on, I already mentioned Mjolnir, so here's a better picture of that. It's there. You can see it in the dirt, covered, so on and so forth. So there it is. A couple of food item trays as well. But you can also see that there's a lot of food trays from cafeteria food and everything like that. So a lot of stuff happening.
If you look right under the head and the handle there,
yep,
that little thing underneath there, it almost looks like an old pineapple grenade.
Yeah,
from back in World War II.
Yep. Now I can't show because I can't show the mouse, but yeah, it's right where the head of the hammer meets the handle.
Yep, right there.
You can see that.
Right in the circle there.
Yep, right there, right in the middle there. I wish I had like a pen that I could highlight stuff.
Yeah, right.
That would be sweet. It would be sweet.
All in time. When we get
New
signed
tech.
to Sirius XM, we're able to upgrade all our equipment.
There you go. Then, of course, we've got
dream big, right?
Hey, you know what? Why not? Why not? In Loki's hideout, we see Roxy Wine, which is reference to Rock's Cart, which is also a reference to the wonderful evil corporation Roxxon, which has also been seen in the Iron Man movies. This is their boxed wine. You can see some bowling pins, and you know what? Let me.
Those look like a bunch of little swords.
Yep, there's little
right
swords
next to
there.
The glass there.
Let me make the picture a little bit smaller so I can kind of go back to what we were doing with split screen here, and I can show two pictures at once. So I would bring that other picture. Obviously, their hideout is in a bowling alley.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's in a bowling alley because if you didn't see the bowling alley, well, you're going to now. And this is all of them sitting around. So you can see, you got your bowling pins. You got a stand-up, light-up Santa Claus for decorations. You can see them all sitting around talking, telling their stories and whatnot, and just stuff that's on the table. Okay? And for some reason, that did not get all of the picture. There we go. That's better. That's better. That's better. That's better. Like my buddy and me. my buddy. And then they made it into a horror film. So there you go. So there's the scene in the bowling alley, and I have to admit, seeing Crokey in a pool
Right.
was really great. Especially with a small Easter egg of C.J.S. Thompson's book, The Mystery and Lore of Monsters. But if you notice, Crokey is also drinking wine.
Oh, he's got to have some too. Shit. Mm-hmm. You know.
Absolutely. Now, for all those gaming fans out there, there is a wonderful Easter egg for one of the most notorious games from the 1980s that...
Zelda.
No. It was reported that players suffered from side effects like nightmares and hallucinations. And that game is the 1980 classic Polybius. Right there, right behind classic Loki, there's Polybius. Right there. Can't miss it. I thought that was a very good nod to those wonderful arcade gamers there. And I
don't even remember that game. I don't think I ever saw that game.
It's an old game. It's kind of like that game. Basically, like all the flashing lights and everything is what made people, quote, hallucinate or have epilepsy or stuff like that.
Have epileptic seizures.
Yeah. So, there's a very, very big urban legend when it comes to that, like with the Men in Black and so on and so forth. So, yeah, very interesting that they had that in there. I thought it was a great nod to the gaming community. Then, of course, with the bowling alley itself, there's a lot of different decorations and stuff like that. And this was one thing that I had noticed. With all the decorations, it looks like candy. You got all the candy canes in the bowling alley, the bowling pins right next to it, and Kid Loki is on his throne, which kind of has like a Queen of Hearts theme to it, from Alice in Wonderland or the Wizard of Oz. You could probably reference the Wizard of Oz to it, but I'm not sure if it's there or not. But if you notice, Kid Loki was drinking a juice box, and he was drinking an Ecto Cooler. Remember Ecto Coolers? It's a green high-C Ecto Cooler with Slimer on it from Ghostbusters. I thought that was amazing that's what he was drinking.
The one thing that I'm noticing, or that I'm kind of tracking into as you list out all these different Easter eggs.
Yep.
It seems like these are the majority of these Easter eggs so far that you've talked about are all things that reference back mostly to comic books.
Comic books, cartoons, movies.
Mostly, and I could kind of understand, catering to the Avenger nerd court, quoting, which is going to be most. I won't say most, but I'll say the majority of people watching this.
Yep.
But for somebody like me who's just watching from the outside, we would never catch any of this.
No, you really would. And there's so much.
Yeah, I mean, we catch things like, like I talked about the thing that looked, and the more I think about it, maybe it was kind of in a reference to an old Thor shield.
Yeah.
Where I was talking about it looked like the Enterprise part of the Enterprise buried into the ground kind of thing. But this was the majority of these Easter eggs, instead of leading to, future movies or past movies or that kind of thing, it mostly seems like they're all leading towards, the geek comic book thing.
Yes.
Instead of, trying to pull the outsider in.
Yes.
kind of thing. So,
And Dromelin-
and that's just my observation.
Dromelin makes a very good point. He says that's because instead of hiring a director with his own vision, they have people who understand and love the actual comic and the material. And that is the difference between what Marvel is doing and what Warner Brothers is doing with DC Comics and their properties. That's the big difference. Okay. Another Easter egg is the Wrightsville Theater. Wrightsville Theater. Now, this is also a reference to episode 4, because as you can see from this picture, the Wrightsville Theater sign, and you can see the car that Mobius is driving. Underneath it, on that timeline, you've got Wrightsville, PA, 1832.
Did they have drivers in 1832?
I don't know. Dromelin says that's why The Mandalorian may have saved Star Wars. It did. We'll get into that another time. Trust me, we'll get into it another time. Yeah, obviously you've got the variant Lokis from the different comics. You know, they prefer snakes to wolves, but there's so many different variants of Loki from the comic. And my favorite, since you know we're gonna reference it now because why not? Might as well. Is the wonderful Marvel Star Wars reference of losing the right hand. Because President Loki loses his right hand, and Luke Skywalker loses his right hand as well. Great reference. Perfect for it.
I thought of that too.
And then, of course, there's also a wonderful reference to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and WandaVision. And just with the look on JT's face, he's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? I will show you, JT. Have no fear. So, one thing, like I said, I love Easter eggs, folks. If you noticed in WandaVision, actually, well, I'll backtrack. I'll do this one first. So, in the pizza car that Mobius is driving, you can see a Hawaiian dancer on the dashboard. And she's shaking.
Mm-hmm.
She's shaking. It's a hula girl, clearly. But it was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Same hula girl. Look at that. Simmons is holding her. So if you haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., again, this is something that references not just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but what happened to Coulson. It's the Hawaiian presence, Tahiti, the tropical island, the program that brought Coulson back to life. And it was also seen in WandaVision in the ice cream truck that Darcy was driving and stole. So, pretty cool, if you ask me. Great reference, great tie back to the other series, which means Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did, in fact, take place in the MCU. Now, there is one other thing, and I thought this was cool. We didn't really talk about it, but JT mentioned it. JT mentioned it big time because, well, let's face it. It's pretty pivotal.
Oh.
Well,
I mentioned something pivotal.
You did. You mentioned the battleship.
Mm-hmm.
Elioth and the battleship.
Right.
But the question is, do you know where that battleship is from?
My guess would be, I can't think of the name of the damn movie, but it's the one where they,
Come on, you know it.
what is it? They bring the Arizona back out.
Nope. So
this
is
it? What is it?
It's the USS Eldridge.
Eldridge. Okay.
Which was part of the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh, I never watched that.
In which the ship was reportedly rendered invisible in 1983. So they tied it very, very close together with
Well,
that.
if you added 1 and 7, there's 8.
Yep.
And then the 3, so...
Yep.
I never watched that one, so I wouldn't know.
It's a good movie. Good movie. Then, of course, it's a very interesting reference to the comics on Mobius's license plate. Mobius had Greenwood. GRNWID on the license plate of the car. And I'll show it to you. Which is a reference to Mark Grunwald, who was the inspiration for Mobius's likeness in the comics. So that's a good, hey, here I am. I created, he's based off of me. Done.
When you said that, I kind of thought you were going to go with the Griswolds.
And the park is closed.
Right.
Then, of course, this was a good one. And Dromlin says, to be clear, the movie was in the 80s. The Philadelphia experiment was supposedly in the 50s. Yes, it was. Yes.
Right.
World War II. After that. It's after World War II. But my favorite was a nod to the Guardians of the Galaxy as well. Something that not many people would pick up on because they're not really paying attention to the background. And JT has already admitted that this is something that he doesn't typically do. But with this next picture, you can see Ronan's ship from Guardians of the Galaxy completely crashed down in the void.
That's a ship?
Yep. Here you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There it is. So there's a shot of it from Guardians of the Galaxy. And you can see it's destroyed. The Dark Aster. Thank you, Dromlin. So there it is.
Okay. Now I remember the ship. Thank you for putting it up for reference because now it makes sense.
Yep. Now, this is one that I'm hoping we'll see when it comes to the Eternals or maybe afterward. This one I didn't even catch. I saw it, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I looked it up. And this one is the head of the Living Tribunal, which the Living Tribunal helps protect the balance of the multiverse in the comics. So interesting that we're seeing his head. Dromlin says the one above all. Yes, the one above all. So it's interesting seeing his head in the field with Alioth right there, ready to basically consume whatever's around. So very interesting that they added him in. Then, of course, there's... And I think this is what you were probably referring to, JT, was one of... You were talking about how a ship looked like the Enterprise, right?
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to kind of paint a little picture for you because I'm sure this is exactly what you were talking about. Let me just zoom in.
Well, it's kind of hard to miss because it was just that big old disc.
Yes.
Buried in the ground.
Yes. So
like a dinner plate.
So let me... There you go. So I'm pretty sure this is what you're talking about. And yes, it is a big disc. You can see a disc there.
Mm-mm. That's not the one I was talking about.
No?
Nope.
But do you know what that is?
Nope.
That's the SHIELD helicarrier from Avengers.
Huh? Okay. Yeah, that's one of the hover...
Yep. It's
one of
a
the hover
SHIELD
blades
helicarrier.
right
So
okay.
So that's a really good find, and I can show you a little bit of a better close up. You can see the runway there. You can see the turbine. It's a little closer. You can see the cloud and everything. It's there, and boy, is it there! Whew. They again a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of throwbacks.
The one that I'm talking about, I think, is in the opening scenes where, like I said, where they're flying through.
Yeah.
And there's just a 3/4 circle.
A 3/4 circle.
And yeah, I mean, it's like 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 I said, it looked to me, it kind of felt like it was the Enterprise that crashed straight into the ground.
Sure.
But the boosters and stuff were gone. But I think I think it was right there in the beginning sequence. I wish I could go back and
Yep.
and reference to it, but it's not a big deal.
Lady Death says, I know the one JT is talking about. Dromlin says, but is it one of the Insight helicarriers or one from Ultron? It's a very good question. We don't know.
From looking at it, I would say from Ultron.
Yeah.
Just from looking at it there. Of course, I've never seen the Insight that you're talking about. So
you haven't watched Civil War? Not Civil War. Winter Soldier. Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah, the 3 helicarriers. Those were the Insight helicarriers that they destroyed.
Gotcha.
And it was wonderful. Then, of course, we've got the Flaming Blade. The Flaming Blade. To Norse mythology that Loki himself created.
You saying that the blade is gay?
No, that's on fire.
Oh, okay.
That's on fire. It's on fire. I'm just saying.
And John says, which does nothing.
Pretty much.
It was, he needed the fire to attract Alioth.
Sure.
I mean, him just waving a blade's not really going to do it. He's going to be like, it's just some dickhead with a stick over there.
Sure. Then, of course, classic Loki, using magic to basically create an entire planet. Go back to Asgard.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest scenes in the entire series.
Yeah,
right there.
That was cool. And if you think about it, that also is a very good reference to WandaVision. How Wanda used the dark magic to create an entire town as a TV show. So, yeah. It was very interesting. And then, of course, the cat is back. The cat is back.
I'm going to try to ignore it.
Then, of course, we have the number 1 Easter egg at the end of the episode. The Chronopolis. The Chronopolis. And when I saw this, I just went, ho, 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 you bastards. Because as we're going to find out in episode 6, which we're going to get right into after this, the Chronopolis is home to Kang the Conqueror. Yes. Kang the Conqueror.
So that's who that is.
Oh, yes, that's who that is.
I was wondering.
That is who that is. So a lot of things going on. A lot of things.
Just a few.
Dromlin says he should just shut up and kiss himself. They are the perfect Loki couple. It's very true. It's very true. It is the perfect Loki couple. So now, with that ending, because really it went right to black from there. It went right to black, and
right
now
to the
credits, no post-credit scene, nothing, ready to go, and we go into episode 6. Episode 6 for all time, always. And I'm not gonna lie, not a lot happened. I was very shocked by this. I really
not
was.
a lot happened, but they answered a lot.
Yes, they did.
They answered a shitload.
Yeah.
Just in the conversation.
Yeah. So I love that Lady Death is banning people right away.
Mm-hmm. That's all the want to become famous by followers people.
That's not how you become famous. So anyway, episode 6 starts off with Loki and Sylvie entering the Citadel at the end of time, where they meet none other than Miss Minutes. Howdy, y'all.
Now, this blew my mind.
Yes.
Miss Minutes being there blew my mind because, it suddenly made me realize that, wait a minute. Well, now that I know who he is,
Yes.
this guy, whoever it was, because at that point he hadn't been revealed, whoever this person was, created Miss Minutes as his go-between.
Yes. Absolutely.
To control everything that the TVA did.
Now, didn't this episode make Miss Minutes look and sound creepy?
Oh, yeah.
Like as if she was part of like a horror film?
Well, with what she was presenting them,
Yes.
she had to.
Yes.
She couldn't, with offering the things that she was, she couldn't be all happy-go-lucky and everything. She had to sound serious.
Yeah.
And when you take a character like that with that accent and voice,
when
they get serious, I don't care what you do, that voice gets creepy.
And let me tell you, that Southern voice, that was creepy. That accent, it was like, whoa. Lady Death says, "What do you mean this episode?" this episode kind of emphasized more.
Yeah, it
on the creepiness
really
of Miss Minutes. It really did. And that's what I loved about it. I loved that it was like that. The other thing is with Miss Minutes, like JT said, she was more like the go-between for the TVA and He Who Remains, her boss, her master.
Yeah.
And the offer was to let Loki and Sylvie live in the sacred timeline.
Yeah, he was going to create a separate timeline inside the sacred timeline where those two Lokis could exist together.
Yes, at the same
rule.
time. At the same time.
And then also giving Sylvie an entire life's worth of memories.
Yes.
I almost missed that he offered to give her, how would you like to wake up?
Sovereignty
in the
and
morning
happiness.
And have a lifetime of memories.
Right. And that, to me, most people probably would have went, yeah, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But other people out enough as it is. Let's just do that.
But the best part is both Loki and Sylvie rejected the offer. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, and it'll be made clear as we go down the line here, I think at this point in time, Loki is not just realizing what he had done in the past because of watching his entire timeline and seeing his death and everything, but we're getting to the point where Loki was at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
The thing that came out to me, the realization that I kind of got when Miss Minutes was talking to them and giving them the offers and everything and them turning it down, was I suddenly realized that, wait a minute, Loki's not in this for himself anymore. He's in this for her.
Right.
To help her try to accomplish what she needs to.
Right. Exactly.
To make her be okay. And I say that knowing what's coming up.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I
without a doubt.
Before then.
Without a doubt. Now, at the same exact time as this is happening, Ravonna Renslayer receives information sent by He Who Remains by Miss Minutes. Mm-hmm. And this is when Mobius enters the room.
I think it would... Well, you kind of jump in the timeline a little bit. Because she gets this information and Renslayer's like, well, that's not what I asked for. And she's like, Miss Minutes is like, no, but this is the information that you need.
Yes.
Enjoy the read. And then she disappears. And then a little bit later on, it jumps to the part where she's packing up. She's putting stuff in her briefcase, and that's when Mobius comes in.
Right. And I have a feeling that this is going to it's going to reference the relationship between her and Kang the Conqueror. Mostly because of the comics. Because in the comics, the two are lovers.
Ah.
So there's a lot going on. Dromelin says this also opens the door to Apocalypse and Sabanur, the Fantastic Four, assuming Kang is Nathaniel Richards, Doctor Doom, etc. There's a lot going on. Don't jump the gun.
Again.
Don't jump the gun. Watch it, buddy. But again, also great theories. Because I do know eventually they want to bring the X-Men into the mix. When that's going to happen, don't know. But it may happen sooner than you think. So, we'll talk about that later. After she gets the information from Miss Minutes and Mobius confronts her, the two of them basically, and they try to kick the shit out of each other. But at the same time...
Mobius tries to kick the shit out of her.
Well,
and doesn't even get a blow in.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He ends up on the floor between the couch and the table.
Yeah. But I also think this is... It's a ploy. I think it's a ploy. It's a theory. It's just a theory that I have that it's a ploy that when she opened up her TemPad and went through that door saying that she was leaving to search for free will.
Mm-hmm. Well, it opened the door to season 2.
It definitely opened the door to season 2. Okay, yes, absolutely. And season 2...
Because there's an entire timeline right there.
Right. Now, the other thing is... it's going to probably tie into Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I'll get into that. Trust me. We'll get into it. But I also think that Mobius planted something on that staff for pruning to track her. It's a possibility. Again, it's just a theory. But again, we'll get into that and why it's a theory.
What I found to be interesting was the correlation to her position now.
Yes.
As Renslayer and her position in the timeline before she was brought in.
Yes. To
the TVA, because she was in a position of power in the timeline because she was a school principal.
Correct. Teacher.
And now she's a judge.
Which...
very high positions of power.
Which, speaking of the principal, B-15... B-15 shows up in 2018, Fremont, Ohio, and she's being pursued by other TVA agents and troopers.
C-90.
What?
C-90.
Yes, C-90 was the hunter that walked in the room with her. But what she did was she went into Renslayer's office.
Yep.
To show this specific trooper that they're all variants.
Yeah.
All
variants. Prove to him what's going on. And,
yep.
Like she said, we have a lot to discuss.
We have a lot.
And that's the last we see of them.
Right. Well, yeah, until she's in the TVA later on, but we'll get to that. So now we have B-15 is basically telling all the troopers, no, you're a variant. Here's proof. Here's Renslayer. Just saying. But she wasn't known as Renslayer then.
Renslayer then, yeah.
Because they did whatever they needed to do. But at the same time, he who remains greets Loki and Sylvie. And this is why I say the episode really didn't have a lot going on. Because it was basically a recap episode from the point of view of he who remains.
Mm-hmm. From that point, yeah.
From that point on, Sylvie tries to attack him. 3, 4 times, maybe more. And every single time he avoids it. He uses a TemPad that's on his wrist, and he disappears and reappears, and he's laughing his head off and doing everything that he's trying to tell her because of everything she does. and that Loki does, he
already
is
knows.
one step ahead.
Yep.
He can anticipate everything happening because he is the one who is in control. He is guiding everybody and everything to a specific point.
I like the one in the elevator, the first one where she tries to get him and he pops up onto the couch behind her and
Yes.
laughs.
Laughing his head off.
He's like,
And then she tries
You
it
missed.
again and he's out of the elevator waiting for them.
Yep.
I love that it's nonchalant where he's just eating an apple at the same time. So he is the past, the present, the future. He can see everything and he is writing everything. He also reveals to them that he created the TVA to basically help him keep himself at bay. And this is where all the references to the multiverse war that they mentioned from the beginning of the season to
Right.
now kind of plays into what's going on. Because now he's saying there are more variants of me
right. So,
who are
for
some are good,
clarification for me,
some are bad.
for clarification for me, he created the TVA in order to control the other variants of him
From taking
Right.
over and
and
conquering.
being able to
and
take over and come out of the timeline and
Yep.
wreak havoc, but not
Yeah.
necessarily to protect him from himself.
Right. It's to
Okay.
it's to protect. It's to stop the other variants of him
Right.
from coming in and destroying the timeline.
I did like the explanation, though. I did like the explanation, though, because they explained it a little bit in the beginning.
Yep.
In episode 1, they explained it a little bit, but if you remember, I made the comment that I wish they would have gone into more detail
Yes.
about how everything happened and how the timeline was created and everything.
Sure.
So, for me, being an outsider, for me, this was the detail that I wanted.
Yep.
Back in episode 1.
Which obviously it's good
You
that
know.
they waited until the last episode to do.
And the other thing I like was it showed where and how he made his partnership, I guess you could say, with Elias,
Yes.
and revealed that because of Elias, he was able to finish the multiverse war and combine everything into one timeline. That
Yes.
that explained a lot to me. It really did.
It-
So I'm glad they had it in there.
Sure. Absolutely. And he even goes on to say that several of himself
Mhm.
from the 31st century,
Yep.
from all these different multiverses that he figured out were on top of each other.
And at the same time, other versions of me were discovering the same thing.
Correct. Some good, some bad.
Some bad. And that's
Some
where
even worse.
the start of the multiverse war came from.
Yep. And he created the TVA to fix it.
Yep.
Keep it all one timeline.
After making the alliance with Elias to help him destroy, or I shouldn't say destroy, defeat
The others.
all the other versions of him.
And I really like when they got into, well, who the hell are you?
I was asking that the whole time.
And he said these words. Some call me a jokester.
Mm-hmm.
Some a conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the clue for me of who this
See,
person
to me,
was.
that was the conqueror with the battle for in the multiverse war.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so I was right in that.
You were.
Okay.
So he who remains is another version of Cain the Conqueror. Now, Lady Death says, I was waiting for him to say Cain. Well, it's actually Kang. Kang the Conqueror.
Kang.
Kang. Kang the Conqueror. And one of the things that they mentioned was when he who remains said, you have two options. The two options are, you can take control of the timeline. The two of you, together. Make sure everything is fine and dandy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the TVA their variants. Life goes on. You keep doing what you're doing. Managing the
Explain
timeline.
to them why they're there and why they're doing what they're doing, and life goes on.
Right. Or kill him. End that one timeline. And risk another multiversal war. Sparked by his variants.
Yep.
So those were the options. Take over or kill. Now, if you kill him, technically you're still taking over. But you have that risk.
Well, from the way that he puts it, if they killed him, they wouldn't have been taking over the timeline because it would have released all the other timelines.
Correct. Which
So
it could be catastrophic.
You kill him, you create utter chaos. Whereas if you take over my job, you can control the chaos.
You control the chaos. You live in one timeline. You do what you need to do. Have fun. Keep the TVA the way it is. Keep managing the timeline. You're good to go.
Right.
Or we see what happens. Well, this is where the timeline starts to begin to diverge. And we see it. We see it happening. And he who remains says, I can no longer anticipate the future.
Yeah. That's where he says, I lied. I could only predict up to a certain
point.
A certain threshold.
And we've made it to that threshold.
Past.
Yep.
We're now past that threshold.
So Sylvie tries to kill him. And Loki tries to stop her.
It was an interesting fight. Because to me, it was like a fight between two people who were in love with themselves, but
yes,
one of them wouldn't admit to that, which was Sylvie.
Correct.
And Loki, the entire time of this fight, is trying to get her to understand that.
Yep.
And I liked her one comment. That's not me.
Yeah, right.
That's not me. Open the portal, knocked him. I may be jumping.
Well,
on the
you are
timeline
jumping ahead. You are
do.
jumping ahead. So don't jump ahead just yet because we got to get to the fight.
Okay.
Because the fight is basically Sylvie attacking Loki and Loki trying to save he who remains because he thinks he who remains is right.
I think she's telling the truth.
He thinks he's telling the truth. And from someone who's a liar, a cheat, someone who's the god of mischief. And this is why I said in with episode 5 that we're getting to the point where Loki is now back to where he was at the end of Thor Ragnarok before Infinity War as the god of mischief. He's now the anti-hero,
Yeah, he was kind of becoming a good guy.
Yeah.
Kind of.
He flat out says and starts pleading with her. Get help. It's so embarrassing. Where he thinks he who remains is right, and then Sylvie kisses him. And this is classic Loki.
The trick was that while she kissed him, she turned him.
Yep.
And if you didn't pay attention, you missed it because I watched it twice today. The first one, I didn't catch the turn. The second one,
you saw the turn. Yep. You saw the turn. She turned him and kissed him and then pushed him through a door.
Said, that's not me. And before Loki could even, I think before it could even register in his brain what she was saying, she opened a portal and knocked him back to the TVA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And obviously, he tries to go through the door again and she shuts the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kills he who remains, who was surrendering to her.
I like that because she's like, shouldn't you be begging for your life?
Yep.
And he's just kind of like, why?
Yeah.
You're going to kill me. I mean,
Right.
I can't stop you. I don't have the temp pad anymore, so I can't avoid your attacks.
Yep.
And he was laughing at how cool it was of what she was doing when she, shoved the desk to the side and all this other stuff. And he's just like, I've accepted my fate. I know what my fate is. I'm going to die. At this point, I now know what my fate is.
And again, it was the two choices.
Mm-hmm.
If I die, I know what's going to happen. And his last words were the greatest. The greatest. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. And he said that, and I'm like, oh.
Uh-huh. Now, after that, he dies. He's got the sword in his chest. He dies after saying, I'll see you soon. And Sylvie just collapses to the floor on her knees. Don't know if it was, I did what I sent out to do, or it was, I think he was right kind of revelation,
Just a quick thing.
Yep.
And it'll explain what my opinion is on that, on why she does.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact name of the movie, but it's the one that was done from the intelligence side of hunting Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
And it was the lady that had been doing this for 10 years. And so on,
Yes.
and they go through everything and they finally catch him, they finally kill him. She verifies that it's him, and she walks out of the tent.
Yep.
And she collapses because her entire life's work
Was
everything that she's
done.
like, she's like, what do I do now?
Right.
Is the realization that the only thing that she has ever held any purpose for is done. Zero Dark 30. Thank you, drama.
Yep.
Is done.
Yeah.
She has accomplished everything
Jessica.
that she's ever set out to do. And Sylvie is in the same situation because that is all she has ever known, is all she has ever pushed for, is all she has ever tried to do. And now she's accomplished that because she didn't want to bring down the TVA. She didn't want to do any of that. She wanted the person responsible for what happened to her.
Right. Absolutely.
And she finally accomplished that. And think about, okay, you getting your first book, your first audiobook.
Yay!
And you worked at it, and you worked at it, and you worked at it. And when it was finally done and approved, how did you feel?
Oh, it was amazing.
Big sigh of relief.
And then I started second one.
You felt awesome because you finally accomplished something that you've been trying to do for so long, for years.
Yep.
And you take that feeling and you multiply it by 1,000,000. And that, in my opinion, is what she is going through right there.
Yeah. So now, the other thing is, and Dromlin, I'll get to your statement in a minute. Loki now goes to warn B-15 and Mobius about what happened. About He Who Remains and his variants. But they don't recognize who he is.
I rewatched that scene 4 times this afternoon.
And they even said, what department are you with? Who are you?
You're an analyst, right? What department are you with? Who
Right.
are you?
Yep.
And I'm sitting here going, wait. What the hell?
And then Loki turns and sees one of the statues.
And it's Kang.
And it's Kang. Well, it's
Now
He
think
Who
back.
Remains. It's his variant. He
Yeah,
Who
okay.
Remains. We know it's Kang.
If you think back, though, if you think back to the earlier episodes, I think it was it was either episode 1 or 2 when they first came in, and he first looked out and saw the universe that was the
Yep.
TVA,
Mm-hmm.
and in that center point, they had the 3 timekeepers.
And those were gone.
All 3 of those, no, they were still there.
Well, yeah, they were still there, but
But all 3 of those in the earlier episodes, they had the Picasso kind of faces.
yep.
This one, and he's the center one, he's the highest up. Perfect face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Loki's just sitting there going,
Uh-oh.
that's not good.
That's not good at all. Dromlin says, and tell her what she's won, Johnny. Well, congrats. You have unleashed the following: Kang the Conqueror, Iron Lad, Ramatut, Victor Timely, Scarlet Centurion, Immortus, Kang the Conglomerator, Mr. Griffin. Yeah.
And many, many more.
And many, many more. We already know Iron Lad's going to be around because of Iron Man 3. We already know Ironheart's going to be around. We know a lot's going to be happening. And we know Jonathan Majors, who played He Who Remains, is already going to be Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Well, here's the thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of us, as the outsider, here is the one thing that I was thinking as the episode ended. They open 3 different storylines.
Oh, they open a lot more.
Well, that I recognize.
Sure.
But they opened up at least, just from the ending of it, just from the way that everything went at the end, they opened up the storyline with Renslayer.
Yep.
With her going out and trying to find free will.
Yep.
They opened up the storyline of He Who Remains, a.k.a. King the Conqueror.
Yep.
And they opened up the 3rd storyline for season 2 of Loki.
Correct.
And
Because
I know there's a lot of sub timelines or storylines that were opened in there also, but I think those are the main 3.
Well, the other thing
Unless
you
I
have
missed,
to remember,
obviously I missed some, but I think those were the major 3 that they opened.
the other thing you have to remember is now that He Who Remains is gone and the timelines have split.
One of him
Yes.
is gone.
Well, this particular variant is gone.
Right. Right.
Now you have all the multiverse to worry about, which comes into play with Spider-Man, comes into play with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It will also come to play because Scarlet Witch is in that movie. It'll also come to play into Ant-Man and the Wasp, as well as the Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings. It's all going to be put together. And the one thing at the center of it is going to be Jonathan Majors' version of Kang the Conqueror, who, and I told my father this last night after I watched it, Kang the Conqueror is going to make Thanos look like a mosquito. And it's going to be awesome. Because if you notice, in the Phase 4 docket, there is absolutely no Avengers movie. There's none. There's no Avengers movie. The end of Phase 4 is going to end with the Fantastic Four. Which means Phase 5. Phase 5. We might not even see a new Avengers movie for another 10 years.
Right. Nakia says that he's going to turn Thanos into his bitch.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
Drummond says, does this mean that I'm going to get phone calls from other universes now wanting to talk to me about my extended car warranty?
If they haven't done that already, then you're not in the right earth.
Now, I want to add an addendum to my 3 timelines.
Sure.
And I think now that you've mentioned all the different things that it's referencing to with Ant-Man and Wasp and all these other ones, I noticed when they first flashed to Mobius and B-15, okay, before Loki came running up.
Sure.
Mobius made the comment that that's 63 new timelines just in this quadrant.
Yeah.
When he said that, it took a second, but all of a sudden my mind goes, the military in me picked it up.
Yep.
And said, wait a minute. There's more than one quadrant. That means there's more than one office for the TVA.
Yes.
Whereas initially, Oreo, I love you, but you're pissing me off. Where initially I thought, and I'm sure a lot of others did, I thought that they were controlling and monitoring the entire timeline, where with that statement, there's multiple renditions of the TVA
Sure.
monitoring certain segments
Absolutely.
of the timeline. And I never caught that until he made that comment.
Absolutely.
So I wonder how that is going to tie in.
It'll be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what comes in season 2.
Yeah. Dromelin says they're going to do the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts. I can tell you right now, they're most likely going to do the Thunderbolts before Dark Avengers. And
Because he's in the know.
And the only reason why I'm pushing toward the Thunderbolts is because of Hawkeye. Hawkeye is going to be at the point of running his own team eventually. Jeremy Renner is signed on to play Hawkeye more, aside from the TV show. But I really do think that we're going to see the Thunderbolts. Now, the other thing that I'm kind of hoping happens is in the mix, they do start bringing in the X-Men. And rumor already is that Hugh Jackman may be playing Wolverine one more time for Deadpool 3. It's rumors right now. He's talking with Kevin Feige, but it's a possibility. And if they do that, then you gotta do Onslaught. You gotta do the Onslaught storyline in order to bring the Thunderbolts. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Well, and the nice thing is that all will reveal itself in time.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
You know? I mean, we
biggest,
already have some of the timeline.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is
that we know.
They announced the Fantastic Four at the end of their Welcome Back to the Movies trailer that they did. And Fantastic Four is ending Phase 4. Dromlin says it was John Walker, the Abomination in Shang-Chi trailer, and the possibility of General Ross being the Red Hulk. It's all there. It's all there. But that's just the different version of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
To be honest,
all of that is too much for a redneck like me.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
You know, I mean, there's just, and it's been like that, and that's one of the things that's bothered me about the entire series is that there's just too much. So before we go any further, I want to get Kay in here to give her synopsis real quick.
Let's do it.
Hang on. I'll be right back.
Let's do it. And Dromlin, just to kind of add to that, the possibilities are endless. The theories are endless. Everything is endless when it comes to the characters that they can bring in. And Marvel already proved that you can take B-list characters like Avengers, like Iron Man and Captain America and all of them, and bring the Avengers in and make it good and entertaining. They know how to do it. Dromlin also says Marvel has figured out that they make the movies for the nerds. The regular people will see it, but then go learn about the characters. It's very true. They will.
Not me.
but you know what? But JT, even for you, you know more about these characters now than obviously before you started doing it. I've
kind of been forced into it too.
You're welcome.
So, you know. She's cuddled up in bed and everything else with the animals and everything. So
that's fine. So what does she want to say?
The things I remember from her saying earlier was for an overall thing. For her, it was kind of like with me and Wanda.
Okay.
She didn't really get invested into it until episode 5.
Okay. Yep.
You know, she hung in there, you know, because of me.
And she did good.
And she did good. And she got invested in episode 5, and she really, really liked what happened in episode 6.
Nice.
Here's the thing, and this is a statement from her, and it's a big statement from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll lead into my stuff right after this. She is more invested now.
Sure.
in season 2
There
of
you go.
Loki
See?
than she was in the entire season 1.
Wow.
And I have to agree with her on that.
Can't wait for season
I'm not
2.
saying that season 1 wasn't good.
Right.
It was good. It took me, like her, until episode 5 to really get vested in it.
Yep.
But I never got as invested in it as I did from the very beginning
Right.
with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Which, for me, I think that's more because it's more action-filled and more spy-like. I think you like
Yeah,
spy stuff better
There
than...
wasn't so much
Yeah.
stuff in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it was a lot with the action and everything else, but it pulled me in. The storyline pulled me in right off the bat with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whereas with Loki, it pulled me in, but it didn't pull me into where I was looking forward to the next episode.
Okay.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it was bad. I enjoyed the series. I actually enjoyed kind of getting lost a little bit because, you know, every episode I get some questions answered, but I would have twice as many questions as I had before the episode. You know, so each one answered questions for me. The storyline was good. It was entertaining. You had to think a lot more.
Yes.
In this series. And you know me, thinking gives me headaches.
So what would you rate it for the episode first?
For episode 6, I would give it a 3.5.
Okay. And for the entire series. And before you answer, I gotta say thank you to the wonderful Sim Trisha who just rated with 12 viewers.
Hi everybody.
Welcome. Thank you again, as always. I gotta get my notifications up for these frickin' raids.
Right. I like what Dromlin said. Dromlin says Falcon and Winter Soldier is a super powered lethal weapon.
Yeah, it kind of was.
I
like that. It was super powered lethal weapon. Sim Trisha, how are you? I'm doing well. It's been a long week, long weekend. Vacation didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be, but it was pretty good for the most part. How are you? What were you playing? We're currently talking about Loki episode 6. We just finished it, and we're about to do our ratings, our rating of the episodes. So I went to Pennsylvania. I went camping. And yes, Sim Trisha, Lady Death will be getting in touch with you, by the way. Just putting it out there.
Okay.
So JT, welcome Raiders. Hello.
Yes, definitely.
Click the follow button. Do shout out. I think I can do a shout out. Shout out. I think it's shout out. It should work. There you go. It did work. Yay. Mad Squirrel, hello. How are you today? Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the raid, because I'm sure you were. I appreciate it. Again, we're talking about Loki episode 5 and 6. That's what we were doing today. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So JT just rated episode 6 at a 3.5. Mm-hmm. And what do you rate the series in all?
Overall, I will
1 to 5 Loki helmets. Overall.
1 being bad, 5 being good.
Yes.
I will give it a 4. I'll give it 4 Loki helmets overall.
Okay.
Lower
than the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier for me, of the 3 of Wanda, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier blew them away.
Absolutely.
We both of them away.
Sure.
Wanda, I would be lucky to have a 2 rating from me.
Okay.
It took too long for me to get pulled in. It took too long for me to be invested. If I would have stopped at episode 4, I never would have known. I'm glad that I hung in there. It ended up being a good storyline. Loki was like smack in between the 2.
Okay.
And the reason that I moved it from a 3.5 as my overall to a 4 is because of the fact that it is very hard to get me to the point where I'm looking forward to what's coming more than I enjoyed what I saw.
Well, and that was the good thing about it is
So
it was
that-
supposed to bring you into that.
Yeah, that was the thing that pushed it up to a 4 for me. I enjoyed it. It was good. I think it could have been better,
Sure.
but overall, I'm going to go with the 4.
Overall,
I
it's
enjoyed
going to be interesting.
I think basically it was just too intellectual for me, too much, and like I said, with all the Easter eggs and everything, this one seemed to go more towards, you know, the movie nerds and the comic book nerds and that group than an outsider.
Yeah. Professor Cohn, thank you for chiming in. The premise behind the show
Exactly.
was good, but parts of it could have been better. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, you know, and we've been mentioning that since WandaVision, that yes, some things could be better. What those things could be, it really all depends.
Yeah, it's up to the individual. The only one that I'd say did not hit that premise is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, you were like,
Because every episode left me, you know, waiting. Okay, it's Monday. I got to wait 4 days before the next episode comes on. You know, every night, Friday night, you know, we would
sure.
cuddle up in bed. We would have our nighttime snack, and we would sit down and we would watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. By the way, he's much older, folks. Just putting it out
Yeah, I got like 20 years on him. So
He's the redneck. I'm the geek. But
so what would you rate episode 6?
so episode 6, I would rate at a 3.5 as well, only because of like I mentioned in the middle of the episode that it was more of a recap. It was a recap from the point of view of He Who Remains, of everything that happened in the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And the timeline, the whole MCU, to be honest.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to have to agree with Dromelin on it. He says it was a world or universe builder. The intent of Loki was to open the doors to the Marvel closet. Absolutely.
Which it definitely did.
It did.
And that's the thing is, you know, I think, just like he said, the intent of the whole thing was to, one, explain the multiverse finally to
Yes.
people and how it was created
Yes.
and everything, but also to open the door up to try to pull people in
Absolutely.
who are still on the outside. I won't say it's pulled me in, but it has definitely made me a little bit more interested in
Sure.
seeing the movies and shows to come a little bit faster than I normally would.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
okay, so 3.5 on the episode.
3.5 on the episode. Overall, I would
the
say, for me anyway, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to
Okay.
give it a 4.
So same as me. Probably for totally different reasons, though.
Well, yeah, because for me, the only reason why I bump it up to a 4 is all the Easter eggs. The Easter eggs for me as the geek saved it. Dromelin says it's time to say goodnight and move on. Good night, sir. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, as always. Obviously, if you were here at the beginning and you've watched the show, I don't have to say spoilers, so thank you. Thank you. Now, the Easter eggs alone in all the episodes referencing all the things that happened in the MCU and on was amazing. Professor Cohen says some of the actors they had in it made it for me. Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen,
See, I'm not a big actor guy.
which you know what, for you, JT, that's okay, because you don't know actors unless it's like something that you
Yeah,
are
Melissa
fully
McCarthy,
invested in.
Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson. You know,
Right. And with that, you know, when it comes to the Marvel side, like even when I first saw that Owen Wilson was in it, I'm like,
yeah, you didn't like that.
I don't know.
I think he had one of the best characters in the series.
His character of Mobius was amazing.
Yes.
The on-screen chemistry between him and Tom Hiddleston was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Just phenomenal. Just the way the two of them went off of each other. It was fantastic.
Well, and it surprised me that the chemistry between him and Renslayer.
Oh yeah.
It seemed forced.
Yeah. But
You know.
but that
But I
plays.
guess that's the boss employee relationship too.
Right. It's the boss employee relationship, but at the same time, it's also the different variants
Mm-hmm.
that I mentioned.
Right.
And I mean, I called that in episode, 2?
Yeah.
The different variants. So I kind of knew what was going to be happening. You know? And again, I'm not really ruining anything. I'm
Right.
not. But for those that haven't watched it, spoilers. Just
You know,
saying.
even coming from me, this will mean a lot. That if you haven't watched Loki,
Yes.
I would advise to watch it.
There you go. JT's stamp of approval.
I mean, it's something that actually kind of gives you a baseline for everything that's coming. You know, and kind of ties it back to it. You'll sit there while you're watching the movie or something and go, wait a minute, I remember when they referenced that back in Loki on the timeline.
Right. And
Those kind of things.
And that was the best thing about it. Professor Cohn says, without giving the spoilers, for those that haven't seen it, it was the actors in episode 5. And to be honest, Jonathan Majors isn't really a spoiler. He's not.
For some.
No, for everybody. For everybody. For everybody.
Right.
The fact that he's in it helps pave the way to what we already know of him being in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium. So all the Easter eggs, all the references, everything referring, like even the opening title for Marvel Studios
Mm-hmm.
had quotes from every single movie instead of the normal Marvel Studios fanfare.
Yeah, I found the opening for episode 6 to be extremely interesting.
It was very interesting.
You know,
And-
because you're getting all these one-liners from
All the different
episodes of
movies,
Loki,
all the
plus different movies and everything else. So that was really interesting on how they did that.
Yep. So to me, yay. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. But it is the full series is at least a 4. It's at least a 4 for me. What will season 2 bring?
I'm looking as forward for season 2 with Loki as I am for season 3 of Mandalorian.
And season 3 of Mandalorian.
And
is
that
gonna be
tells you a
awesome.
lot.
It does. Season 3 for Mandalorian is going to be awesome.
And there is a lot of interest in the Boba Diaries too.
Ah, the Book of Boba. Yes. Yes. So
Boba. Sorry.
this 2-hour episode of Avenger Pretenders is now officially over. Loki is done. We are going to take another probably 1 or 2 weeks to kind of collect our thoughts. JT and I are going to discuss what show we're going to do next. Because
While
we're
we
not,
wait.
while you wait, yes. It's the good thing about Avenger Pretenders is that we don't have to just do Marvel shows or DC shows. We could, but it doesn't have to be just that. It's going to be shows that we can do rundowns on, that we can go through the whole entire episode, tear it apart from the geek and the redneck side of things.
I think what we should do is open it up to suggestions from from the Raiders,
Okay.
from
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
regular punchers, and I mean, you've talked about Cobra Kai. Honestly, while Kay was gone, I actually sat down and tried to watch Cobra Kai.
Okay.
I just couldn't do it.
Wow.
I could not even hit play on episode 1
Really?
of season 1. I couldn't do it. I had it set up, ready to go, and I couldn't do it.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's just, there's some things that just don't interest me. And to me, Karate Kid ended after 2. 3 never should have been made.
Well,
3 never
technically,
should have been made.
technically, the next Karate Kid should never have been made.
Well, yeah. I mean, they could have left it alone at 1.
Yeah.
But 2 was okay. 3 is makes me want to puke in my mouth a little bit.
Three is kind of the.
And I just couldn't pull the trigger on Cobra Kai.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No,
I mean,
it's okay.
If it's what the viewers want, I don't really have much choice. But I hope y'all wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah. No. Peabody Nick says, "Shalom, my Jewish friends." I love how he says that.
Yes.
So hello and shalom to you.
Shalom back to you.
Shalom to you. He says,
and Peabody says, Karate Kid 3 was pretty good. Terry Silver and John Kreese together.
which we will see in season 4 of Cobra Kai. So,
Well, you guys will see it.
yeah, JT's not going to watch it, unfortunately. So I guess the Cobra Kai is out of the question when it comes to Avenger Pretenders. But
like I said, if it comes down to it and the viewers really, really want it,
then you'll do it.
I don't really have much of a choice because you know how I am. I want to make our viewers happy.
The
That's
viewer,
just like-
so the viewers are going to make you feel guilty.
Yeah, they're going to guilt me into it.
I like it.
I mean, it's just like eating the chocolate covered cicadas.
Which will be very interesting, to say the least, when we do a joint show. That'll be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Lady Death says you will watch it.
No. See, I know what she's going to say that we should do.
Yeah, she's going to say Cobra Kai.
Of course.
And she says, which I need to discuss with you guys. Yes, you do. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Yes, we will.
We will figure it out. I promise. So
I think we should do a review of Raja and the Last Dragon.
we can do that.
Have you watched it yet?
I have. Like a month or two ago. I also watched Black Widow.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
I know people. I'll get it to you. I'm just saying.
So do I. But
I'm just saying I got it.
and she needs to talk to us about the bug thing.
Yes. Oh, yes. She certainly does. That'll be interesting, to say the least.
We'll get more into that as we get the our raters from tonight and everything. When
Absolutely.
coordinating the shows and all that stuff, because that's going to be some crazy stuff. There's
It's
going
going
to
to
be
be
some
awesome.
fun crossovers on these shows.
It's going to be fantastic. Peabody Nick suggests Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon. Ooh, that's a good one.
Going back in the archives.
Yeah, that's dusting off the cobwebs.
You just got to remember that I got to be able to find it on like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus, because those are the only 3 I have.
It's true. Lady that says, hey, what about me? I've been loyal for 3 years. You have.
Yes, you have.
And your subscription proves it.
Yes, 32 months.
And your
No,
donations.
35.
And your donations.
Yes.
Your donations prove it as well. And Lady Death's talking to some Trisha, too. Beautiful. Beautiful. Peabody Nick, someone brought up Dragon.
Yeah, that would be a natural fall into the Bruce Lee stuff. So
yeah,
yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I can see how that is a possibility. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
So you know what? So here's what I'll do.
Uh-oh.
Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna put the Discord link in the chat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that are watching on D Live, those watching on Twitch, go to our Discord channel. It's real simple, real easy. And what I'll do is tonight, after I end the broadcast and we do a raid, I will put up an announcement in the Discord channel with a poll. I'll put a poll up or something where people can choose what
Yes.
we're going to watch next and review, whether it's a TV show or a movie.
First, we need to have people make suggestions, and
Yes.
then from those suggestions, we will make a poll. We will post it on Facebook. We will post it on Discord and all our other channels and everything.
Yep.
On Twitter and all that, so that people can vote.
Yep.
And you all will decide what we're going to review next.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the ways you could do that is by following me on Twitter at The Sully Show, as well as at Accidental Punch. I use both. Yay. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Sully Show, as well as facebook.com/Accidental Punch. It's real simple, real easy to do. Plus, go into our Discord. Peabody Nick says, what type of movie? Doesn't matter. No porn.
It can be a movie, or it could be like a mini series.
No porn.
Like
just no porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no porn.
It can be rated R. It could be PG-13. Doesn't matter. It could be Star Wars. It could be Indiana Jones. It could be to hell. What's The Notebook? I don't give a shit. Just suggestions.
No 50 Shades of Grey, though, folks. No,
Yeah.
okay.
Peabody Nick says I have a great radio voice. Thank you very much. I learned how to do this.
I guess I'm just chopped liver.
You are chopped liver, even though both JT and I worked in radio. Not together.
And
but
I
we did.
actually worked on a real FM station, too.
Well, I did AM. Kind of,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And I worked for Radio Disney.
It's the Diet Coke drinkers that listen to AM, but that's okay.
It's Trisha, chop liver,
Chop
sad
liver.
face. That's how we roll.
Don't
folks.
feel bad for me, because I don't.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
God.
If someone picks that, I'm gonna die laughing.
And that right there, folks, is just a sampling of how tomorrow's show goes.
Oh, and believe me, whew,
Because how many hard rights and lefts did we take in just like that minute and a half?
a lot, a lot. So, with that being said,
Nice cover, Nick. Nice cover.
well, now you do.
Yes.
Now you do know JT's name. Look, there it is, JT,
All you gotta do is say, the redneck guy.
the redneck guy. A war movie. Oh, okay. All right.
A lot of ways we could go.
Oh, we could do anything. Like I said, it could be any type of genre. It can be TV show, anything. Good example. Now I have HBO Max. I log into HBO Max and I watch it from time to time. But they're Band of Brothers, Sopranos. It doesn't matter what it is. We'll figure it out.
I love Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers was
one
phenomenal.
of my favorite shows.
Another good series, From the Earth to the Moon. I loved that series because I love space. I love stars. I love the shuttle, so on and so forth. Peabody Nick says, so for your money, what's your best war movie? Ooh.
For war overall would be Band of Brothers. For war movies,
Yeah.
oh God, there's so many of them. I mean, The Bridge Over the River Nile is a great one.
River Kwai.
Yeah.
Clip that.
Saving Private Ryan was a good
Yeah.
one. I mean, that's one of my favorites.
And that's one of the more realistic ones.
Yeah,
Saving
I
Private
mean,
Ryan.
there's some great ones. I mean, there's some amazing movies. What is it? Pork Chop Hill, Full Metal Jacket. It depends on what
Platoon.
war time frame you're talking
Apocalypse
about.
Now.
It's too hard to pick a favorite. I mean, my favorite of all that I've seen, and I've seen probably 90% of them, would be Band
Hacksaw
of
Ridge.
Brothers, but The Devil's Brigade.
Oh, the Devil's Brigade.
Devil's Brigade is an awesome one. Hacksaw Ridge is a great one too.
Wait a minute. What about 1941?
That's a good one too.
1941 was good.
Peabody Dick's like so many, man. Yeah.
There
see
are.
what you opened? You see the freaking can of worms you just opened?
Yeah, it's just like comedy. Forget it. Comedy.
Yeah, forget about it.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Even horror. Horror's got a lot. And I'm not just talking your normal slasher. I'm talking horror. You have your horror. You have your thrillers. You got your
Peabody,
supernatural thrillers.
Got to watch Devil's Brigade.
Oh, Devil's Brigade.
Devil's Brigade
awesome.
is an amazing movie. It is based on a true story.
Yep.
Of the Devil's Brigade in World War II.
Yeah.
And what it was it's a movie about a brigade that was formed by combining Canadian and American troops. And it's just the stuff that they do, the battle scene, the big battle scene at the end of the movie is just simply amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff that they do, definitely check it out.
Peabody Nick, let's go way back. The Fighting Sullivans. Woo!
I don't think I've seen that one. I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one, but I don't think I've ever seen that.
That one's an old one. That was at least 1944.
Oh yeah,
45-ish.
Yeah.
And I mean that one. Oof.
Carol says, "Great show. Gotta go. Take care. Love
thanks,
to all."
Carol.
And I'm in the same boat as her, so we need to go ahead and do this raid, my friend.
We do. We need to do a raid. We got to
because
end
we
it.
haven't taken a bladder break. So
bladder break. What's that? I do want to thank
everybody.
Sims Lover Forever 89, Sims Fanbot, and Professor Cone for following the channel. And I know JT mentioned it earlier. Lady Death, thank you for resubscribing for 32 straight months. Yay! I appreciate it as always, my dear. But we are going to do a raid now. We're going to do a nice little raid, and I need to see who we're going to raid.
And Centricia, thank you for raiding us again.
Yay. Peabody Nick says, such a fun station. Wait until tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the crazy night. This was supposed to be a serious thing.
Yeah.
But y'all just trashed it here at the end. So, thanks for destroying our show.
She didn't destroy the show. Didn't destroy
he says
the
with
show.
A smile on his face.
I love it. We're good buddies now.
But tomorrow night, don't come in at 10 o'clock.
I think they're doing their podcast tomorrow, just like we are.
Yeah.
It's the same time, man.
Short by an hour and come see us at 9.
Raids are always welcome. And you know that. Be nice.
Always.
Be nice.
Never.
Never. Never. Oh, let's see. Who can we
Tuesday nights up.
Who can we help today? We might go to Wednesday though. Ooh, because of the Bucks game. Okay. All right.
I am blown away by the fact that the Bucks finally made it to the finals. I'm just simply blown away by that.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch basketball.
Neither do I, but the fact that the Bucks made it. First of all, the fact that the Bucks made it into the playoffs is a shocker. But the fact that they're in the finals and actually making a fight of it.
Yeah. Well, and
Bucks.
That's the biggest thing. Even Trish's like, I'm amazed.
It's her home team, and she's amazed.
There you go.
And, I'm from Wisconsin, too. So, that's.
There you go. You know what? Let's see here.
Let's raid who is that? Centricia. Let's raid her.
She's not on. Well,
that's her fault. I tried.
Oh, I love it. We're going to raid. Let's see here. You know what? We're going to raid.
I'm just a simple redneck, Trisha. You have to understand that. Yes, I am. Nick. Yes, I am.
Let's see. You know what? We are going to raid Stan64. Stan64. Great streamer. He is currently playing The Legend of Zelda. Ooh.
That game just is like Bob Costas. It refuses to go away.
Well, he's playing Skyward Sword, so yay to that. So yeah, we're gonna raid his channel. Sim Trisha, thanks for the stream. Thank you very much. Stick around for the raid. Obviously, you know, because you raided us, so we're gonna raid Stan64. Yay! If I can get the frickin' raid to work. There we go.
Learn how to type. How many times do I have to tell you that?
I know. So Lady Death is in touch with Trisha, so
It
yay.
only took 15 minutes
Yay.
to finally make the
Yes,
connection.
she is. So I'm going to let the two of them work it out and make it work so we can do a wonderful joint thing with our shows. It's going to be wonderful. So, Stan64, here's what I would like you to do. If you are a subscriber to our channel, make sure you use the Accidental Punch logos with Punchers Unite.
Not unit.
In between.
Unite. Make sure
Not-
you add the E.
Yeah, not unit. I've done that, or I've done untie before too.
Yes, you did. Yes.
So make sure you use that in the chat. Punchers Unite. Go show your love for Stan64. We will see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the Sully Show, and then Thursday for Shout Out with JT. And we're going to take a week or two to kind of figure out what our next show is going to be for Avenger Pretenders. So we will see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Accidental Punch TV. We will see you later. All right? We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow, and it's going to be fun and entertaining. All right?
Hasta la pasta.
So hasta la pasta. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night, guys. It won't let me do the raid. It says something went wrong. Hold on. Something went wrong. No. I don't want something to go wrong. It feels so good. All right. Now we can raid. Bye, guys.